basically, if you know anything about mountain biking, you know how fast you go. We have little things called GPSs. We have cycle computers, which are basically odometers, speedometers, little digital things that go on our handlebars. We can tell how fast we go. In fact, these things not only give you your speed as you're riding, at the end they'll give you an average speed, an elevation gain, etc. It's not guesswork. You don't have to say, well, it feels like I'm doing 19 miles an hour. It will tell you. It will compute it. And guess what? Most people know what their average cruising speed is under different conditions, on the road or off. And I can tell you, again, I've never gotten up to 30 miles an hour riding off-road. Whether cruising around, whether downhill, whatever. It has never happened in over 20 years as a cyclist. And I don't know anybody else to whom it's happened either. Certainly I don't know anybody who routinely goes that fast on public trails. There may be some people who ride public trails but also occasionally do, downhill racing. Maybe they get that fast on a downhill race course, but this isn't a downhill race course. It's a public park, and nobody I know goes that fast. They can't. So here's my thing. If this guy knew anything about cycling, in particular mountain biking, he'd know that. He doesn't. So I guess I'm looking at it, it's kind of like the gun control advocate who doesn't know anything about guns but wants to ban them, or the politicians who don't know anything about healthcare but they want to come up with a healthcare plan that tells patients and doctors what they can and can't do. You have people who don't know about a subject and want to make rules on it. And these people certainly have a right to hold their views as mistaken and as incorrect as those views may be in a factual sense. But it doesn't benefit government policy to have rules made based on those views when those views are incorrect. When those views are in error, yes, they have a right to say whatever they want to say, but it shouldn't be taken as the basis for policy, for legislation, and for rules that govern how the rest of us live. In other words, the ignorant shouldn't be making the rules to regulate the knowledgeable. Or we could say rules should be based on facts, on reality. And what they're talking about isn't a reality. Just like what they're talking about is basically hypocritical. On one hand, they say, well, these trails are just going to be for bikes. I won't be able to hike on them. That's not fair. You're denying me use of the public space. What do you think your mountain bike ban has been doing for 20 years to the mountain bikers? And people, I guess, should look at it and say, the policy in Watchung is, and Union County, generally speaking, is an outlier. Mountain biking isn't some weird thing. Having mountain bike access to some degree or other in a county park system isn't some oddball, unusual, weird thing. It's the norm now, okay? The universe is expanding around us. You look around the state of New Jersey, in addition to biking, I do archery. If I were to take my bow and shoot an arrow at a map of the state of New Jersey, big wall map, chances are I'd hit a place where, I could do it with my eyes closed, chances are I'd hit a place where mountain biking is welcomed, encouraged, and accepted. Maybe not on every single trail, but on most of them. Certainly, almost every other park system has some mountain bike access. And we don't have any. Why is that? The laws of physics clearly aren't different here. So what's the reason? There is none. I think one of the reasons that this policy of a mountain bike ban is an outlier, is not the norm. There's a reason for that, and it's that there is no good reason for the policy. There wasn't when it was implemented years ago in a backroom deal without any public input by the unelected, and there's no reason for it today. And people might say, well, but you're a cyclist, so you have a bias. No, I have an interest. Obviously, I want to be able to ride without driving for hours to another county. Here's the thing. Even if I wasn't a cyclist, I would like to think I have an interest. I think it's in all of our interest, whether we bicycle or not, or even like the idea of bicycling, to have government conducted in an above-board fashion and in a fashion which is in accordance with the facts. Nobody benefits from public policy that's based on misperceptions, myths, and biases. So again, if you don't like bikes, if you think we eat babies, if you think we're Satan, whatever, we'd be unsafe, we couldn't possibly share the trail, or you think we're all traveling at the speed of light, you know what? You're free to believe that. But we should also be free to live in a society where the policy isn't based on those misperceptions, myths, and bigoted views, where the policy is based on the actual facts of the real world. And those facts are that shared trails work, and certainly having some form of mountain bike access is normal. So, you know, the mountain bikers are going to be here. We're not going away. We've been here for 20 years. We'll be here 20 years from now. We've done all we can to bring this to the attention of the public and to the attention of the government people. And the next move is theirs. But we're not going away, and we will be watching.